All right, I have to make a video. I'm in a parking lot, so it's gonna be super awkward. All my videos are super awkward, so surprise. Anyways, one day I will have a video. I just decided I'm gonna stop restarting them when I say anyways, because one day I will, my makeup just never looks right. I will have a video where I don't say anyways in it, but I digress. I've been thinking a lot about something recently, and it's really been bothering me because I have been working on some writing stuff, and in it I am writing about like my past, and something that's been a real struggle for me is writing about my past because things are okay right now and like my life is good, and I don't ever want to, you know, complain and say that things are bad. I have healthy kids, I have a really nice looking husband, you know, like we always have food on the table. Things could obviously be way better, but like I have nothing to complain about. We have a great life. The struggle is that I have a hard time writing about my past because I don't want my past decisions to be justification for somebody else who struggles with the same sins. I don't want my decisions to be an excuse for them to be like, oh, well, she did it and everything turned out fine, so okay, that's fine, I'll do it too and everything will turn out fine. And what I've come to realize is that upsets me. I even do it sometimes too, or I used to. Like, I would see somebody who would have, let's say, premarital sex, and I was like, well, they're doing it and everything's fine, so I mean, what's the big deal? I don't really care. Well, I ended up pregnant, and I might need to start this video with like a disclaimer. I guess I probably shouldn't just post this everywhere. Corey and I had Carter before we got married, and I don't want people to look at our lives now and Carter, who's awesome, and we have a fun life. And I'm not saying, oh, our life is so awesome. I'm just saying, like, we have a good life. And I don't want people to look at our life and be like, you know what? I mean, they had a kid before marriage, but everything turned out okay. So if it happens to me, I mean, I don't want people to look at our story. I know I'm repetitive, but you guys know by now I'm not good at talking. I don't want people to look at us and say, they did it, they're fine, and some would argue even better because of it, because look at the great thing that came of it. Carter. Look at Carter. He's amazing. He wouldn't be here if that didn't happen. So maybe that, you know, their sins led them to like greatness and happiness. And that's something I really struggle with, because I don't, like, we have screwed up in the past, and what people didn't see was they didn't see the fact that we had to tell a bunch of people what we did, and people were not nice to us, and people were really hurt by our decisions. Corey coached at a Christian school, and he got suspended, and we had to make really hard decisions, and I had to go to school while I was super pregnant, and I didn't get to go have the college experience because I, you know, was pregnant and I was throwing up in the middle of clinicals, and we had to get married earlier. You know, we wanted to get married, but it was hard decisions. We weren't ready, and because of that, we had to overcome hard things. We had to, you know, I had to go to work right away when I had a little kid. It was hard. People didn't see the struggle of that, the financial struggle, the emotional struggle, the obstacles we had to overcome being a super young married couple living in their parents' house. And I think that so often people will look at other people's lives who are doing things the wrong way, but yet they're still successful, and be like, well, they're successful, and you know, they don't have morals or ethics, so I mean, what's the big deal? They're fine. But you don't really know what's going on in somebody else's life. You really don't. And you don't really know the struggle, and you don't know the pain that they've been through. So I guess I'm answering my own question, which my question was, how do I write about my past mistakes and make sure people don't use like my story and my path as an excuse to take the same path because things turned out okay for me. Things might have turned out okay for me, but who knows how much further ahead we would be had we made the right decisions, had we taken the correct path, and also all the pain that we could have bypassed by making the right decision. So I guess I just want to say, don't compare your lives to other people's lives, and like, don't justify bad decisions by someone else's bad decisions and the result of it, because one, you don't really know what's happening inside their lives. It might look good on the outside and it might not be good at all. But also, you know the right thing to do, and you know that compromising is not the right thing to do. Even if everybody else is doing it, don't do it. Even if somebody else's story turned out better, you think, because of it, it didn't. And the last thing I want to say is that this has become a lot easier for me because Corey and I are in a really hard season right now. You know, we're trying to be financially strict and grow and do all these things, and there's people around us who are our age and they're way further along in life, and they're going on vacations and they're taking their kids to do things that we can't really afford to do right now. And it would be so much easier to just continue to get in debt and continue to charge our card to go do the fun things now. But I'm gonna finish with saying this: do the right thing, even if it's the hard thing. And usually I'm learning that the right thing is almost always the hard thing, and it's almost always the thing that's gonna not be the fun thing, and it's gonna be the thing that's like, oh, well, I'd much rather take plan B. Don't do that. Just don't. And it's a lot easier. Like, for me, I am a Christian, and it has become a lot easier for me to do this, I would say, especially even this past year after my cousin McKenna passed away, because, you know, I just realized how short life is, and it made me really evaluate, why am I here? What am I doing here? And ultimately, it's because we are all put on this earth for a reason and for a purpose, and God has a mission and a purpose for all of us. And I have just, you know, because I realized how short and how brief McKenna's life was, and how I just want, when I get to heaven, I want God to be so proud of me that I accomplished my mission. And so since that, this past year, I just feel like I have a mission, and I'm gonna do it. I don't care what people think. I don't care what people say. I do have temptations. I do want to spend the money. I want to buy the shirt. I want to go on vacation. I want to go hang out with my friends instead of reading a book on a Friday night to grow myself, but I'm not, because I know the right thing and the wrong thing. If it is biblically correct, then I'll do it, and if it's not, then I'm just not interested anymore. So that being said, I just want to encourage you, know what your foundation is and build your decisions off of that foundation. If it is not in line with your morals, with your values, if you're a Christian, with what the Bible says, don't do it. Even if every ounce of your being says that you need to do it, don't do it. Even if everybody else says you need to do it, don't. Even if the person that you look up to the most has done it, even though they knew it was a sin and things turned out okay, don't do it. Just don't.